Hello. In this program, we're going to create another Hello World program, but this one is going to be a GUI program. So what GUI stands for is Graphical User Interface. So when we talk about GUIs, we're talking about programs with some sort of element that the user can interact with. And that, in fact, we have a GUI right here. This is the PyCharm GUI. It has drop-down menus, it has buttons, it has all sorts of things. We're going to do a really simple GUI right now. But what we learn with this is we're going to eventually be able to expand on it, and in fact you could probably make something that has a very similar look to what we see here on the screen. The tricky part would be the back end, all the processing that happens when you actually interact with the program. So in order to make GUIs inside using Python 3, we're going to use a pre-built module. And what a module is a collection of functions that the user can call upon. So these are a whole bunch of little functions, and what a function is a small section of code. So we'll say a function is a small segment of code that can be run. So a module is a collection of a bunch of functions that the user can call upon. And in fact, there's a built-in module in Python that comes with Python that's really useful, and it's called the TK interface, and is shortened to TK-inter. These are very light definitions of these, so don't, by all means, do a little more reading about what functions are and what modules are in Python. In order to use the TK-inter module, we need to import it. So what we're going to start with at the very top of our program, and remember, any commented line can be ignored. We're going to say from TK-inter, we're going to import star. And what this tells the program to do is to import all of the functions within that module. Now, you might kind of scratch your head and say, well, wait a second, why is this line a dark gray? And that's because the IDE is trying to help us. What it's trying to say is, you've imported this module, but you never actually use it. So until we use it, it's going to sit there and be gray. This has no impact on our program, and in fact, if I right-click on this and I run this, I'm going to see that this program now just does nothing. So the first step that I want to do when I'm creating a GUI program, after I've imported the module, is I want to create a main window. And a main window is essentially what we're looking at right here in PyCharm. A main window is your big window that you have that has minimize, maximize, close it. It has a title at the top. We need to create a main window. And then what we do is we place what are called widgets inside the window. So to create a main window in TK-inter, we make a variable name. And this can be anything we want. We're going to call it root equals. And we go TK bracket bracket. So notice now, this is changed color because it recognizes that we're using that module. And if I run this program, nothing is going to happen still. And the reason why is I've created a window, yes, but I have to actually launch it for the user to see. In most of our programs, we're working inside this console. If you're using GUIs, you need to actually create the window, and then you need to display it for the user to actually interact with. And to do that, we take the name of our window, and then we use a built-in function called main loop, and it takes no parameters. And so what this does is it says, this line says, pop up the main window and wait for user action. So essentially, when it sees this root.main window, that window pops up. And now if I run this program, there's my GUI window. There's my minimize button, maximize button, close. There's my icon in the corner, which we can eventually change. Here's my title. So this is our window. We can resize it. We can do all sorts of stuff with it. So now we have a basic framework to build on. And as this is a Hello World program, I want to add the text Hello World to it. So how do we do that? To do that, we are going to create a label widget. Now there's a whole bunch of different widgets that you can access from the TK-inter module. And widgets are just the small little elements that you see on a GUI. So this is right here, this is a button widget. In fact, all of these are button widgets. This is a text box widget. Widgets are the small elements that make up a GUI program. And there's a specific widget called a label, which we can add some text to. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to make a variable called word, and I'm going to create what's called a label widget. Now there's two things I need to give this function here. I have to give it, first I'm going to give it the window that it's going to actually sit inside. So this is going to sit inside the root window. And the second thing I'm going to tell it is I want to tell it what that label is going to say. So that label is going to say, hello world. So what I've done here is I've created a label widget called word, and I've said I want you to put it inside the root window, and I want it to say that. And I've missed a bracket at the end. There we go. So let's run my program now. It says, oh, my bracket's down there. That's my error. So let's run my program now. And because the most recent one I've ran was using this right click, I can come up here and use that shortcut. And see, well, nothing's there yet. Okay, so you might say, well, why is nothing there? So when I create a widget, I have to create it, and then I have to actually put it on the window. I have to make it visible on the window and give it a position. There's lots of ways to do this. What we're going to use is we're going to use one called pack. And so I say, take the word variable, and I want you to pack it. And this function says pack it inside of the root window. And it's way off the screen now, so I can't grab it because it's so small. Let me grab it. Sorry about that. It's so small I couldn't grab the movement. I had to actually adjust the size to grab that. And there's my Hello World GUI. So that is the basics of how you start creating GUIs. And in later videos, we're going to look at how to add we're going to look at how to add buttons and all sorts of different things. So as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And I hope you're developing some wonderful new skills. Have a great day.